I'm Danny Eilerman. Welcome to Beyond the Award, a podcast by Visions. Today I'm here with our president, Chris Niekamp.
Hi, so excited to be here. Love to be a part of this.
So today we're going to be talking about awards and recognition and how recognition affects the corporate world. So Chris, in your experience as the president at Visions and your experience through the industry, how would you say recognition impacts corporate businesses and their employees?
Through the culture of a company, there's many things that affect that happiness that an employee receives. And the obvious ones are, of course, the people that they work with, and of course the pay. But something that's really underestimated is really that recognition, because that's where they really feel like they get some worth, that is what I'm doing appreciated and is it valued. And that can really make a difference on how people react to their fellow employees and really whether or not they stick with the firm.
And I think that retention and being appreciated can go such a long way when their peers, their management sees that what they're doing is valuable.
And it's not just being seen by their manager, but even especially their peers, because it's an opportunity for others to see that success that somebody might have, that you've done well. And then it provides an opportunity for those that didn't receive the success to strive towards it, to say, I want to be that person on stage next time.
Yeah, it encourages goal setting and growth, both professionally and personally.
Yeah, clearly it has an impact on how I can interact with my peers and know that I'm doing well and what I'm doing makes a difference.
Chris, when it comes to recognition in a corporate company, what would you say aids in that quality recognition?
There's a couple different facets. I mean, obviously the most obvious is the actual piece itself. Does it represent the company? And I get this object that kind of shows the appreciation, which is pretty neat. So that's the first step. The second one is this the way it's presented? Do I get to go ahead and actually hear from my manager on why they chose? Why did I get this award, which is pretty neat. And then a third aspect is not only the manager, but the other employees. So do my peers get to see that I was actually recognized? And those in combination is what really makes that recognition feel more fully and complete and satisfying.
Absolutely. I think so many employees, they're working their tails off. They're working so hard, and to have somebody else outside of that person seeing that hard work and understanding the value of it, whether it's the manager or your teammates, your peers, having that recognition for that hard work that you yourselves put forth every single day is incredible. It goes such a long way into setting those goals and bringing the whole of the community up.
It's neat when you have something for your fellow employees to bring up to you and say, hey, congratulations for that. And you kind of get to relive the experience multiple times as they come around to go ahead and congratulate you for receiving the award, especially when it's unexpected.
Yeah, I think awards themselves, having that tangible piece to be that reminder of the sales achievement or those trainings that you worked through over the course of a year, or whatever else you're being recognized for, leadership, anything, having that piece that sits on your desk to remind you of all that hard work that you went through goes such a long way.
It really makes a difference, and depending on the type of award, still having it around, and as we migrate from out of office into in office, is kind of the trend. It makes a difference there that I got this piece on my desk.
I think awards, 100% agree. Awards go such a long way into aiding in that quality recognition, the recognition programs, and seeing your company culture thrive. So Chris, we've talked about how awards are so important. Obviously, we're going to say that as an awards company. Why would you say awards are better than monetary gift cards or something along those lines as a recognition piece?
It's been an interesting trend, as for a while companies kind of got into using points and or gift cards to recognize their employees, and most of the companies we see have actually walked away from that. And the reason is because the company doesn't, when the company provides it, the employee doesn't feel any emotional attachment to the gift card. And they don't have any emotional attachment to the company. So when they're receiving that gift card from XYZ retailer, as they're spending that money, they're not sitting there saying, wow, this is fantastic that my employer gave this to me. So they don't associate it with it. And that's one of the big leaps of why a lot of companies have moved away from gift cards and they've returned back to more formalized recognition where they actually get a tangible object.
And I think that is such a great point. As humans, we're such emotional creatures. Like, that is such a pivotal point of being human, and tapping into those emotions by connecting our emotions and experiences with an object that triggers those emotions later on is, like you said, so much more impactful than a gift card that doesn't do that for you. I remember when I first started here, you gave me one of our awards themed around the college that I was about to attend, and I still have that on my desk. And getting to see that reminder of my alma mater with all those great memories combined with the fact that you recognize me with something personal that attributed to my personal life was way better than any gift card that I could have gotten.
That's one aspect that a lot of people haven't thought about, is that level of customization really kind of brings it home to be more emotional. The other aspect is a work of art. So if you give me something that is really cheap and I sit it on my desk, I'm not inclined to keep it very often. But if I have something that is really pretty, that I'm proud of, it leads me to wanting to have it displayed. And what it allows me to do is to relive that experience and over again.
Would you say that's a strength of Visions?
One thing that Visions does really well is not only custom, but the art of recognition. Our goal is to provide you with a piece of art.
So Chris, we talked about awards and how impactful they are in recognition programs. What sets us apart? What sets Visions apart? Why should distributors go with Visions opposed to another competitor?
We have been around for over 30 years, and the success around Visions has always been a consultative approach. So the great news is you can call our customer service, and besides getting a happy face, hopefully you can discuss about what your customer's trying to accomplish, and they can walk you through what would make sense of, is it something that we have an existing product on, or do we have to look at True Custom, and walk you fully through the process, even if you don't know how to sell awards.
I think that is such a great point. Our team, having worked with them a little bit in my time here, phenomenal. They love getting to talk to customers, working with them on projects. Their creativity, incredible. So I think that consultative approach goes such a long way for that personal connection that we kind of talked about awards have in general.
There's so many distributors that will sell promotional products but don't actually go into recognition. And we really find a joy in helping, a company that they know they should sell awards and they just haven't sold awards, and we'll help them walk through that process on what questions to ask, how to approach it, so they can go ahead and get that success. And when they have that first time where they sell an award, it's always exciting for us.
Awards are tied to experiences, and I think that the experience of selling awards is just as important as the experience of receiving them.
Agreed.
In terms of products, Chris, what would you say our product-wise sets us apart?
So Visions is really blessed because we have a full complement of products. So of course we do crystal, and we can do a full complement of crystal all the way to True Custom crystal, and we do that all the time, every day. But what really separates Visions is the number of other materials and designs that we can do. And so we've got a full slate in our catalog of concrete and resin, acrylic, wood, steel. So we work across the full spectrum, and that's really what separates us apart to make some really fantastic pieces of art.
You talked about their works of art.
Yeah, and then moving from, our stuff that is in the catalog is so customizable and really unique, so you can really make the customer feel unique. But then we can work all the way to doing a true custom, which would mean a physically unique piece for that customer. And most people can't go from a very simple piece all the way up to a true full-fledged customized. And that's where Visions really sets ourselves apart.
Chris, thanks so much for being on the podcast today. Beyond the Award has so much to come. Like, subscribe, and comment below what you want to see next.